to you by PaintballToTheEnd.com. Welcome to 10 Minute Marks. We're on episode 25. Once again, I'm Paul.
I am Jeff.
And this episode, since we've done enough NBA, we're going to go back to wrestling. And there's really not a lot to talk about. However, we're going to discuss a little bit of TNA and a little bit of WWE and the possible new ECW faction within TNA.
As first semi-reported by Paul, as he read it on the internet and reported it to me, and we reported it to you, there seems to be a new ECW faction within TNA. I love it. Yeah. I think it's going to be great. Yeah. There's so much I like about it. There's a couple little minor gripes I have, as usual, because you can't go through this without having a minor gripe anything.
Yeah.
But I love, first off, I love the way, to me this is like the best part right now. As of taping, this is July 19th, so this is the week after the first episode of the ECW. Hopefully not Invasion. But I love the way they did Dixie Carter's announcement this past week. I love the way they did it to where they just showed her for a few seconds and her looking concerned in the audience, the way they sometimes do, the way they've done in the past, to where you really don't think anything of it. And then she comes up the ramp, they catch her as she's coming up the ramp, getting to the top, and then 2 seconds later she makes the announcement.
Yeah.
There's no lingering camera view on her for too long to where it sets in your mind, wait a minute, they're on her a little bit too long. And I think she's up to something. I love the way they did that. I love the way the production did that. I was blown away by it. And when she made the announcement, it came as a real shock.
Yeah.
Plus they left it open to where this week she can make the announcement as to why. I love the way they kind of built up to it. I honestly thought that, as I believe he reported before, that Abyss was going to be part of this hardcore faction, and instead I guess it's going to be RVD. I wonder if this is going to turn into a heel turn for RVD. I'm kind of concerned about that, but at the same time, I'm sitting here going, okay, that's another question that can be answered on the next show. That's a good thing. Yeah. The more questions that can be answered on the next show, and the next show, and the next show, and the next show, the better off it is. Yes. The one minor gripe I have about it is the fact that they brought all 8 guys, I counted 8, all 8 of them out at once. And they had this big old brawl at once. I didn't like that. I thought they should do, when the NWO started in '96, it started with 3 guys. I thought they should bring it out with 4 or 5. Bring your 4 from the audience, bring in RVD, have Mick Foley off to the side, and then bring the rest of the crew in over the next 2 or 3 weeks. Bring the Dudley Boys in. Bring in, who else was it?
There was Al Snow. There was
and whoever else, I forget.
Yeah.
Whoever else came down the ramp on ECW side. I thought the brawl was just a little too big. I thought they should have spaced out a little bit who they brought into the ECW faction. Yeah. Instead of bringing them all in at once. That's the only real minor gripe that I have.
Right.
I hope this isn't an invasion angle. I hope they make it like the main event Mafia, to where it's just a faction by itself and there is no invasion purposes. And one thing I do hope they go with is what WWE did to ECW. I hope to God they attack the hell out of that. Yes. It deserves to be.
Yes.
As far as, and that's as far as I go with TNA. Welcome back, Pope. Thank God.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
I heard about your match with Kurt Angle. I didn't get to watch it on Victor, but I heard it was great. Welcome back, Pope. As far as WWE goes, all I'm going to say is right now it's just blah.
Yeah, it is.
Money in the Bank was just kind of blah. Swagger.
Oh my God.
The whole Swagger and Kurt Angle thing he'll get into. Kane being the new world champion, I don't have a problem with, except for the fact that they stripped Ray of the title so soon. Yeah. Like a month. Can you screw this guy any more than you already have? Well, yeah, I guess you can. I'm glad Kane is getting another title run before he retires, but did it have to come so soon after Ray got the belt?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just kind of pointless, Ray. But that's my ECW and WWE rant. On to Paul for his.
The only, I'm going to keep this one sort of brief because I'm going to get into WWE. And the only complaint, the only minor gripe, and this is very minor, and don't get me wrong, I love the fact that they had Dixie in there. The only thing I didn't like was, and maybe they'll explain on the next show, and my opinion will be rendered invalid, but here you had in the middle of the ring, that's how it started, with RVD and Abyss. And RVD threw the first punch. And they brawled, and that's what started the whole thing. And I think my opinion comes from the fact that since they did stuff like that in WWE, and all of a sudden, in our perception, WWE is a heel, which I didn't like because Vince was putting Raw above ECW and screwing it over. And I think going in this direction, it does have me a little bit worried because here you have Dixie coming out and going, oh no, I invited them. Well, RVD's an ECW original, he threw the first punch. That kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. But on the other side of the coin, he's a contracted TNA wrestler, he's the champion in TNA, so I sort of get why anyone would just say, oh, that your opinion there is a little bit out there. But at the same time, I would have liked it if Abyss had thrown the first punch and made it to where the TNA guys attacked first. That way she'd be like, wait, why are you attacking them? I invited those people.
I wanted to make one little note. I wonder if they can make this ECW faction a face faction, and I really think they can.
Yeah.
As to come out and say, hey, we're just trying to make you guys better. We want to make this. We saw what ECW was in the WWE. We want people to remember ECW for what it really is and for the passion that it brings, and kind of turn them into a face faction.
Yeah.
And can you really do the ECW invasion or ECW faction without Paul Heyman?
That's a good point. And I think they should bring in Paul Heyman at some point.
Exactly.
But quickly, I love the fact that Foley is also back. And I love the fact that he didn't say anything. He was just kind of there, and right before a lot of the ECW guys came through the curtain.
Yeah, that leaves room for him to talk next week as well.
Absolutely. Have more questions for next week.
Exactly.
Don't jackpot it all in the same show like WWE sometimes does.
Right.
So overall, I'm very happy with the idea, and I hope they do ECW right with this. On to WWE. I didn't like the fact that Ray, like he said, lost the belts already. I also didn't like the fact that they've been switching belts around a lot, especially between Cena and Sheamus as well. Here you had Sheamus getting the belt off Cena at Fatal 4-Way because of Nexus interference, and then all of a sudden, Sheamus, of course, retains it, but before that, it was just back and forth, back and forth. And, you know, you look at how many title reigns Edge has had. I mean, he's like, what, an 8, 9-time champion in just 2 years?
Yeah.
Doesn't the belt have any, meaning anymore? I mean, they need to build, TNA, they're doing the right thing with keeping the belt in RVD for a while. And here RVD's going, well, this is TNA right here. I am the champion. I am the top dog, and this belt means everything to me. I mean, they're not really doing that with WWE. It's like the belts are just kind of jewelry, for Mr. T or something, Like, going back to Rey Mysterio, the fact that they give him the belt finally, we're like, yes, he can have a good title reign again, because he got screwed when he had it before, when he got the belt off of he won it by beating Randy Orton, or Angle was champion at the time, and all of a sudden he loses it again. So his title reign was nothing.
Right.
And he's one of your best wrestlers there. That really bothers me.
We're going to do one last-minute mark, or a couple last-minute marks. I'm going to do a last-minute mark on the Rockers.
Yep.
For years, me and Paul have debated, probably will debate, best tag team, the Hart Foundation, or the Rockers. But even though you may not say that the Rockers are the best tag team of all time, like I think they are, I think you can definitely say they're most influential.
Yeah.
Now, reasons I say this. Anybody who watched TNA Impact this past week, was that not a double suplex save that I seen the Motor City Machine Guns pull off, followed by a double drop kick, followed by a double suicide dive onto the outside? Does that not remind someone of the Rockers? And is it just me, Or was Kelly using the rocker dropper as her finisher now?
Hmm.
The Rockers' influence lives on. I will always say that even if you can't say they're the best, they are the most influential in wrestling history.
One of my worst fears is coming true, and that is that Jack Swagger, they're trying to turn him into the next Kurt Angle on WWE. I feared it at WrestleMania when he came out looking like the red, white, and blue, and he won it out of nowhere. And now he's using the ankle lock. I have no disrespect towards Swagger. I think he has potential. I think it's too soon. And, you know, he doesn't have the credentials that Kurt Angle has, and he's not quite as good as he is. It's too early, man. Hang it up for now. And that's the end of the 25th episode of 10 Minute Marks. Be sure to email your questions, comments, opinions, and all that sort of thing to 10minutemarks@yahoo.com. We're also on Twitter. Follow us on there. And we promise that the next few episodes are going to be wrestling based. There won't be any NBA for a little while. So, but I do believe.
Yeah, we do want to wish Ricky the Dragon Steamboat a quick recovery.
Yes.
Hope he gets well soon. He's always been one of my favorites. And I need to go out and get his DVD still.
Yeah, I do too.
So, with that being said, I think we are
done!